Hello and welcome to the first Premier League review. Obviously I'm Rich and I'll be doing this without Tom. I know. Unfortunately we can't always be together, so this is a new feature we're going to be trying on the channel. Basically, every weekend at the end of it on the Sunday night, even if there's a game or two on the Monday night, I'm going to do my best to review the weekend's football in the Premier League. Although a shout out to Real Madrid this weekend, where Gaz had a fantastic game in his central attacking free sort of roaming role for Real Madrid, where he basically assisted 5 out of 6 goals or had some part to play in there. So don't criticise Rafa Benitez and don't rule out Gareth Bale from having a fantastic season this year. And you can base the team around Bale and have Ronaldo scoring 5 goals in a game. Who knows? Could be a good season in Spain for Madrid. Then again, you have got Barcelona, so what can you do? So what are these videos? As you can tell by a theatrical trailer, this is a big deal. These are basically match of the day in 5 minutes. What I've done is I've taken extensive notes here, and I'm going to go through the interesting points, key points of the weekend, offer my opinions, possibly a few FIFA tidbits, and if you want to have any suggestions down below as to interesting features we can start incorporating, such as dangerous tackles, interesting goals, favourite manager reactions or something, just comment below and let me know. So, basically I'm going to be trying to make roughly 5 points per match. Unless you have a match like West Brom and Southampton. What can you do? I'm going to start off with Everton-Chelsea. That is finished Everton 3, Chelsea 1. And Everton's manager, Roberto Martinez, is one of my very favourite managers in the world of football. Lovely guy. You will not meet a nicer guy. He tells a very funny story about how him and his wife have an L-shaped sofa. She watches television one way, he lies the other way and watches football. 2 sets of televisions. Really nice guy. Players want to play for him. Everyone wants to play for him. He had a very successful start at Swansea and moved on from there. Wigan, of course, he won the FA Cup. Great guy. Very tactically astute. So, what the hell's happening with Chelsea? Losing 3-1 at Everton. They're something like 16th in the league. What's going on? I think it's pretty much a bit of everything. I mean, if one of us knew, that wouldn't be an issue because Mourinho's one of the best managers in the world. The pundits don't know. I think honestly it's a case of becoming stale. I think Mourinho is also entering into the unknown here. I mean, he hasn't been at many clubs for 2 or, well, 3 seasons or more. So I'm not sure he's quite clicking on how to keep this team going for this long. Mind you, it's Mourinho, it's Chelsea, they have Costa, Hazard, Matic, Fabregas, etc, etc. They're not going to finish anywhere at the top 4, so I'm predicting something like a 2nd or 3rd, maybe even a 4th place finish for Chelsea. That being said, don't rule them out of the top spot, it's Mourinho. What happened in this game? 3-1. Chelsea, what have I written here? Yeah, they can't cope against teams that are coming up and playing football against them. Now Martinez is a fan of possession football, fast-paced attacks, keeping it on the ground. For some reason Chelsea aren't coping with this. Normally their defence will soak it up, turn it into good attacking football, hit teams on the break. I don't know what's going on there, they just can't cope with teams who are giving it, coming at them. Mind you, we got the Matic goal, which was a stunner. So we're going to have a look at that now. I'm going to show you the Matic goal. So he picks up about 35 yards out of goal and he spanks it. He spanks it left foot, and it's one of those goals. Mourinho's not even celebrating it. It's just one of those goals that's going to be forgotten about. Absolute stunner. And as I said, if Bale does it for Madrid, if Messi or Ronaldo do it, anyone else in another position, you remember it, be a forgotten goal. Fantastic strike though, really lovely. Second game, Arsenal 2-0 against Stoke. Now, another little sort of Welsh biased view with regard to Stoke, who we are calling Stoke Alona, with Bohan and what the other the 2 players, the player, you know, the players they got in, you know who they are. Mark Hughes is doing a fantastic job at Stoke. We all know this, and you can ask some of my friends. when he was at Queen's Park Rangers a couple of years ago and he was getting slated, I thought keep him. He'd done fantastically well with Fulham. He'd done fantastically well as a Welsh national manager about 10 years ago. We all know his credentials, we know what he's capable of, but QPR sacked him, and for some reason when he got appointed at Stoke, he got a lot of abuse. I really didn't like that. I think he's a fantastic manager. Arsenal. Okay, here's one of my bold predictions. Rich's bold predictions. I think Arsenal will mount a serious title challenge this year. Why? I'm not sure Man City will sustain it for the full season. Man United aren't the force they used to be, though they're looking better. Chelsea have had a bad start. Liverpool. So I think Arsenal will be in the top 2, maybe 3, maybe 1. I think they'll be up there. They're lacking up front though. If they had Benzema, Lewandowski, Diego Costa, any top striker, they would win the league. I think they've got the best midfield in the league. Yes, they're lacking slightly defensively, only having Coquelin in defensive midfield. What happened to Flamini? But I think they have the best midfield in the league, one of the better defences, one of the best goalkeepers. And they've got Theo Walcott, who's a decent striker, and they have Olivier Giroud, who is a very good striker, but he's not world class. So I think Arsenal will finish second. Now we have Man United 3, Liverpool 1. Now this was a hell of a game, and if any of you have ever been involved in FIFA or Football Manager, you've been watching this with huge interest. We know Anthony Martial, who is now being pronounced Anthony Martial, which I find a little bit weird, but that's years of looking at him Football Manager and pronouncing it Martial. We all knew about him. Anyone who's played FIFA, anyone who's played Football Manager knew about Anthony Martial. And I apologise for calling him that, please don't slay me. We all knew who he was. We knew that he's fast, powerful, he's got great shooting, great vision, great movement. So it's amazing how accurate these football games are. Do I think he's overpriced? No, I don't. I think he'll prove it this season, and I think in about 3 seasons' time he'll be one of the best strikers in Europe. There's another bold prediction. If I'm wrong, come back, tell me, write in the comments, let me know. The first half of the football game, we're not even going to talk about it, but we got a Daily Blink goal here from a set piece that I can't believe Liverpool didn't even know was going to happen. I mean, look, put it on for you now. So we have Zach Mata gonna play the ball back. And he signals. Now, who the hell has not noticed the player standing on the D, unmarked? I can't believe this. Great goal, but it won't go down as a fantastic goal just because Liverpool should not let that happen from a set piece. Not cool. Not cool, Liverpool. You're better than that, believe it or not. So, Martial comes on, and everyone's thinking, what's he going to do? Well, let's see what he's actually like in real life. He's only played like 3 games or something, like 8 full games for Monaco. What's he going to do? Before that can happen, Benteke goes and does this. And we're thinking, a 2-0 lead for Manchester United suddenly becomes completely ridiculous. I mean, what's this? The 84th minute, Benteke, BAM! Unbelievable. This will go down, in my opinion, more so than Nemanja Matic, as one of the great forgotten goals. I mean, this is up there with what Wayne Rooney did against Man City. Was it Man City? But because of the nature of the rivalry of that game, 2011, something like that, because it was such a big point in the game, his shin overhead kick is more fondly remembered than this fantastic attempt by Benteke. How do I think he'll do for Liverpool? I think he'll do very, very well. I watched him at Aston Villa, and sometimes he can sort of disappear from games, so they're going to have to make sure that doesn't happen. He can be quite anonymous at times. Then everyone kind of lost their cool when Martial takes the ball down the other end, and he goes and does this. Ball gets played out. Ashley Young knocks it down to Martial. No one's paying attention, but we all are watching this. He's got the beating of Skirtle and plays a beautiful ball into the corner. Great finishing, great pace, great agility, great movement. And was it Martin Tyler on the commentary went absolutely insane, and so did I. I really, really wanted Anthony Marshall to do well, and you can't do any better than that, can you? So it was a fantastic game. Really enjoyed that. Then we got Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 1. Nothing really surprised me about this. Crystal Palace are a very, very hard-working, very organised team under Pardew, who's doing a fantastic job with them, and he's brought them up a level. Man City, the informed team at the moment, doing very well, although I have another bold statement. I think Man City will crumble. I think there will be a point around December when they will lose 3 or 4 games out of perhaps 6 or 7, and people will catch up with them, and the league will become a lot tighter at the top. Why do I think this? Because they haven't delivered with that level of consistency before. Maybe they'll do it. Maybe they'll give a whole season when they just win every game. But I don't think they have quite the mentality to do it. That's just my opinion. The world's full of opinions, and it makes it a very interesting place to be in. What have I got to noted down here? Wilfried Zaha, who is now back at Crystal Palace and doing a fantastic job. Which is funny, because 2 years ago, when he was at Manchester United, they loaned him out to Cardiff City, my own team, and he was one of those players who had fantastic ability and absolutely zero attitude. He's an attitude kind of guy. When he wants to impress, he can be fantastic. So maybe Crystal Palace is the only place where he can get his attitude fully in check. All I know, he's like Adebayor. Adebayor, when his head's in the game, one of the best strikers in the league. Otherwise, Mr. Anonymous, literally. Also, free transfer for Adebayor now. Interesting point. I wonder where he'll go. Don't think it'll be the Premier League. Can they sign him? Can you get the free transfer, Bosman? I'm not too sure. Then this kid comes on for Man City and scores the winning goal, Iheanacho. Apparently he got the Under-17 World Cup Player of the Tournament, so he's the World Player of the Tournament when he was 16. So this kid's obviously got a hell of a lot of talent. Manchester City fans in particular have told me, watching him in the youth games, that they think he's fantastic, and they think within a few years he'll be one of the first team strikers, one of the first names on the team sheet. He's come on, scored a tap-in. What can we say about him currently? This is a FIFA channel. Let's look at his stats. On FIFA 15 they have him at an overall rating of 67, which is quite low. But he has 85 pace, so he has high speed, top speed, acceleration, agility, and also shooting. His finishing is around sort of 70. I think with FIFA 16, I'm not quite sure, but if they bring him up to sort of mid-70s, or like 73 overall, he could be a good player. Keep your eye on him on FIFA, maybe have a little talent scout. Look at him when you're at Man City on the new game. Finally, Kevin De Bruyne, fantastic purchase. Whenever any team I've supported or played against him, whether it be a Welsh international game or any sort of large Champions League game, he's often been the one player doing wonderful things, wonder goals, unplayable at times. So keep an eye on De Bruyne, could be a player of the season, possibly. Norwich 3, Bournemouth 1. Bournemouth, fantastic manager in Eddie Howe, he's taken them up and up and up and up. Will he keep them up this season? Yes, I think he will, because he's got this mentality, the players are on board with him, there's nothing that's really been changed about this. Similar to Blackpool about 4 years ago, or 3 years ago, when they went up, they were all about mentality. Now, Bournemouth have the mentality, but they also don't have the suicidal tendencies that Blackpool had back then. So I think Bournemouth will be fine this season. Cameron Jerome scored for Norwich. Once again, a fantastic player who started his career at Cardiff. He's one of those players who, in the Championship, is one of the best players in the league, and in the Premier League, I don't think he quite cuts it. He goes hot and cold. He'll score 3 or 4 goals and then disappear. It'd be terrible. And work his way onto the bench. So I think Norwich will struggle this season. I'm really sorry, Norwich fans. I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to see Norwich relegated because I like them as a team. I just have a feeling that as the season goes on, the teams that have just been promoted often crumble. Now, I don't think Bournemouth will, and I do think Norwich will. Why? It's a gut feeling. Probably going to be wrong. What do I know? Watford 1, Swansea 0. Now, pains me to say this as a Cardiff supporter, but Swansea are absolutely fantastic. Gary Monk has done an unbelievable job, and he needs more recognition. Why isn't he getting Manager of the Month, and all these kind of things. I think Gary Monk's doing... Did he get Manager of the Month? I might sound like an idiot there. I think Gary Monk's doing a fantastic job at Swansea. John Joe Shelby played for England against San Marino. Did he play against Switzerland as well? He's probably very tired from his exploits against San Marino. I know it was a very difficult game. Perhaps that's why Swansea lost. In all honesty, I think Watford wanted the game more. They wanted the win. And when you're playing against a team that plays calm, possession football like Everton or Swansea, interesting the link with Roberto Martinez here. When you play against a team like this, if you come at them and you desperately want it and you have a good game plan, more often than not you can pip it and get the result. So I'm not too surprised Watford beat Swansea. However, they're another team that I don't think will stay up this season. And once again, I hope I'm wrong, Watford fans. I just don't think you have the strength in depth this season. That's my opinion. What do I know? Nothing. West Brom played Southampton, and it was 0-0. Berahino came on. Right. And today, what happened today? Let me try and round this up quickly for you. Sunderland, we played Tottenham, and that was 0-1. So Tottenham beat Sunderland 1-0. Sunderland, I think in the past, have suffered from a lack of rigidity in their structure. You'd be watching them and you'll think, where's the midfield? And you think they're trying to chase the ball down and they have players going everywhere, and people are able to pick holes in Sunderland because of this. I think looking at them, I watched most of the game today, I think their structure was much more improved. They look tighter. They've got Barini, who I really rate. However, he is made of like clay, so he'll be good for a bit and everyone will think Barini's fantastic, and then he'll be injured again. What can you do? Then they've got Yunus Kabul in defence, who had been very good at Tottenham in the past, but I think he's past it. His injuries have got the worst of him. I don't know if he'll hold up the full season, so I am worried for Sunderland. As some pundits have said previously, I think they need complete gutting, complete revamping, and I think that'll have to come via the Championship. That being said, if Dick can keep them up, and I think he'll be gone within a couple of months if he can't turn this round, if he can keep them up, all credit to him. But I think Sunderland are maybe my third team I'm picking to go down. So that's Watford, Norwich and Sunderland. Pretty obvious. I think they're wasting Jermaine Defoe, one of the best natural strikers in the league, even at his age. Pardon me. If you put Defoe in Tottenham, if you put Defoe in Tottenham's team, or Chelsea's team, or he's going to score he'll score 25 goals for Chelsea, you know? He's got that knack. He's got that goal-scoring ability to him. And I think he's completely wasted. I think Sunderland need to build their team around getting goals through Defoe, and they're sticking him out on a left wing. Why? I don't understand it. For Tottenham, I'm interested in Dele Alli, the young kid from MK Dons. He looked really good, really combative. You know, he's making some good tackles, making some good passes. He's got good vision, good head on his shoulders. He doesn't rush the ball. He sort of puts his foot on it, looks at it, opens the game up. So he's an interesting talent. And then they've got that fella's son. Don't know much about him. Didn't see much of him. Who knows? Who knows what he's going to do? I wish him the very best. Hope he does very well. Now we've got this fantastic team goal here, so I'm going to have a look at this. So Mason just runs straight through the middle of Sunderland's defence. There. That's that... I said it, didn't I? I said it's that structural rigidity thing. Simple things. You got a player running. Who's tracking him? You got a player running. Why is the central defender not thinking, there's a dude coming this way? I better watch the dude, because the dude might go and score. What's happening here, Sunderland? Simple things. If they can't sort this out, they have not got a chance. It's a fantastic goal, but if you track a runner, and there was no slide tackles, there was no movement at all, they just went straight through. So I'm disappointed with Sunderland for conceding that goal by Ryan Mason there. Now, Harry Kane, what's happening to him this season? He's not quite getting the goals in the Premier League. I think a lot of teams are now basing their defensive strategies playing Tottenham against locking Harry Kane out of the game. I think it could take him another month or two to figure out how to get the goals when the teams are blocking him out. What's happening is he's being forced out of the game for a large majority of it, and then when the chances are coming, he's snatching at it because he's getting less chances because he's getting forced out of the game, and so his confidence has suffered. So I think he's a fantastic striker. I don't think he will be the best in the world. I don't think he'll be the best in Europe, but I think he'll be a very, very, very good striker. So I like watching him. Really nice guy as well. He likes walking dogs, I think, so I like him for that. Now in the final game, it was Leicester 3, Aston Villa 2. Aston Villa threw away a 2-0 lead, and what's his name? Tim Sherwood, Tactics Tim, the Gilet Wonder Man, was very, very disappointed and very emotional that they threw away a 2-0 lead, and so we should be. I don't know what happened to Villa. As I said, watching Villa a lot in the last 5 years, even now they have the ability to just switch off. They can be wonderful, or they can switch off, and they chose to switch off a 2-0 up. A lot of teams do that and get away with it, but they didn't today. Some interesting points. One, I'm happy to see Scott Sinclair doing very well at Aston Villa. He's a fantastic player. He went to Man City and he rotted for about 3 or 4 years. So I think he'll be a key player for them this season, Scott Sinclair. We've got Drinkwater playing well for Leicester. Now, he was an average player about 6 years ago, very average, but he's picked his game up and he's playing some good football. He's a very reliable player. I like watching him. And we've got 3 very, very interesting goals. Actually, before I show you the goals, Brad Guzan I rate as one of the top goalkeepers in the Premier League. And what's funny about that is he's the one who basically, he costs Aston Villa the point today. He lost them the match. At the end of the game, he comes out to clear it, and it all goes crazy. Dyer puts his head in there, gets cleared out. We'll get to that. So I was disappointed with Guzan and Villa's defence for how they handle that. Or should I be disappointed with Aston Villa's midfield for not closing down the cross that came in? We'll look at that in a minute. First thing we're going to do is look at young Jack Grealish, or Grealish. He who wears his socks high and drinks his drinks long and tall. He's about, 19? 19 is he? 20? Very, very, very good player. Do I think he'll be a world beater? No. Once again, like Harry Kane, do I think he'll be a very good player? Yes. I think that's a problem with England and their national team, is they have a huge plethora of very, very good players and very, very few world-class players. Name a world-class English player. And you're pushing it with Rooney, and you're pushing it with Hart. I can't think of any. England have got a huge, huge talent, but they're missing the golden players. And I don't want to say a golden generation, whereas you have teams like Wales who have Bale and Ramsey, one of the best midfielders in Europe, one of the best forwards in Europe as well. There's an interesting insight in my opinion. Don't hate on me, England are a fantastic team and I support them as a British team. So we've got this Jack Grealish goal. So the ball comes in from a corner, it's headed, bounces out, bit of ping pong, pinball. Grealish, yeah, great goal, runs over to Tim Sherwood, as you would, because Tim's one of those guys you just want to hug. Great goal. With the ball's running at him, all he has to do is put his side foot on it and just curl it into the corner. Really love watching those go in. That's like an R1 in circle in FIFA, isn't it? Just clip it in, beautiful goal, very nice. And then Hill, his teammate, goes and one-ups him. How was that? Let's have a look at this. So is that a Bonglahor breaking down the left? Very good player on his day, can be anonymous. And look at that left foot inside of the foot, curls it in. But look, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 Leicester players and 2 Villa central attacking midfielders are allowed to run into the empty space. Could they have been tracked? Possibly, yes, possibly. Possibly poor defence by Leicester there. Now the final clip that I have today is Dyer's FIFA death goal. Now, I hope he's alright, but bang! That's like one of those FIFA glitches when they introduce the player collision system, isn't it? Bang! Guzan goes down, Dyer goes down, everyone goes down. One of those things in FIFA where they hit each other and then one guy goes flying off. And that's what we've got there. Now my quick predictions for tomorrow's game on Monday night. Monday the 14th of September. We have West Ham versus Newcastle. Some interesting points. West Ham Newcastle. Will Andy Carroll make his return for West Ham after 8 months out against his old team Newcastle? if he comes back, I predict he will be world class, absolutely world class. Everyone will be raving that Andy Carroll is the best striker in the world, and then he'll get injured again. I think he's had it. I hope not, because I love him. I love watching him. I think West Ham have pulled off a fantastic transfer by bringing in Victor Moses, who really has been impressed me last few years. Really good player. Levels of consistency can drop, but very dangerous when he wants to turn it on. Newcastle, I think they're doing alright under McLaren. I think they'll be fine this season, but I don't think they'll push any higher than the top 12, really. They need some more goals, maybe a new striker, maybe a recognised striker would have done well for them, but what do I know? Anyway, that's my summary or review of the Premier League. I hope you've enjoyed my insight, guys. Thank you for watching. I will join you next week. See ya.